Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight, I'll be featuring the case of the murder of Christina Grimmie. This was a recommendation by friend of the show, Retro Kid Ice Cat. So thank you, Retro Kid Ice Cat, for the case suggestion. So while you guys kind of come on in, hang out, we'll go over the case. And I am curious, as I discuss it, there'll be pause breaks, obviously, if you guys have heard about this case or not. I have to admit, for myself, I had just briefly heard about it when the murder occurred, and I knew who she was and that she was a performer, but that's all I knew. I didn't know any of the details. So doing the research for this case was certainly very interesting. So yeah, let's go ahead and find out more. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Let's see. Okay, there's already drama in the chat. Well, hey, Ella, welcome. Clay. Hi, Paul. All right. Hey, Renee, welcome. So, Christina Victoria Grimmie was born on March 12, 1994 in the Marlton section of, and I'm going to butcher this, my apologies, Evesham Township, New Jersey. Her parents were Albert and Tina Grimmie. She had an older brother named Marcus. Christina started playing the piano when she was just 10 years old. In 2009, Christina was 15 years old and started posting videos to, what else? Her YouTube channel under the username ZeldaXLove64. The first video she uploaded was a cover of Hannah Montana's Don't Wanna Be Torn. When she later posted a cover of Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA in August 2009, she started to receive attention. In 2010, Christina was now being homeschooled for her junior year of high school. That same year, she posted a cover of Nelly's Just a Dream, along with two other YouTubers. That video received more than 190 million views within 10 years. It became so popular that it became available on iTunes and Spotify. In 2011, Christina placed number 2 in the My YouTube competition behind Selena Gomez. Christina was discovered in 2011 by Selena Gomez's mother, Mandy Teefee. She and her husband, Brian, then became Christina's managers. Christina then performed in the UNICEF charity concert, performing backup vocals for Selena Gomez in the scene. And she appeared on the first Diggy Tour in 2011, which was created specifically for YouTube artists. She has so many accomplishments. I'm only covering part of them, but there's so much more. So I just want to say, if you guys want to learn more about Christina and all of her performances leading up to her success, definitely look it up. I think I kind of covered like the big ones that kind of would bring her to the next step and the next step, but there's so many amazing ones. Hey, a lot of you guys are coming in now. Welcome, Nick, Scotty, James, Corey, Capone, Mimi, welcome. So let's see. Yes, in addition, she appeared on the Billboard Social 50 and she opened for Selena Gomez in the Scene All-Star Weekend and the Jonas Brothers during their Concert of Hope. She toured for 6 weeks with Selena Gomez in the Scene, opening for them in the We Own the Night tour. In June 2011, on June 14 specifically, Christina released an EP titled Find Me. The album was released independently and debuted at number 35 on the Billboard 200 chart in the United States. She appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show. I totally just butchered that, didn't I? I didn't watch that show. Ellen DeGeneres show with fellow YouTuber Tyler Ward performing a cover to Lil Wayne's How to Love. November 20th, 2011. Christina performed at the 39th American Music Awards pre-show alongside Tayo Cruz to a special rendition of Higher. This is where she won her first award. January 2012, Christina moved to Los Angeles to pursue her singing career. In April 2012, she was signed to Creative Artists Agency. On Disney.com, she starred in the web show Power Up with Christina Grimmie. This ran from March 29th, 2012 until June 5th, 2012. She revealed that she would be working with a new band called Rising Tide. Well, Christina's YouTube channel now had more than, get this, 375 million views and 2 million subscribers. Take that, podcast. Just kidding. She opened on the Selena Gomez tour during the North American leg of her Stars Dance tour. She was able to perform songs with her debut album With Love, which was released August 6, 2013. 2014. Christina auditioned for season 6 of NBC's The Voice. I have to admit, I know everybody watches The Voice. I don't watch it. I'm more of like a dance show kind of person, obviously. So singing competitions aren't my type of shows. However, I have a lot of friends that do watch The Voice. So when this case occurred, I'd gotten a lot of feedback from those friends. Oh, she was on The Voice. Oh, she was on The Voice. Well, that's where they know her from. So let's see where you guys are in the chat. Oh my gosh, Capone, right? Ninja Intruders. Yeah, you can always expect me to butcher probably like at least 25 to 50 words every episode. But that's just what makes me special. Ninja Intruders, though, will definitely go down in history. Well, that's probably for a different reason, Amy. So, yes, in 2014, like I mentioned, Christina auditioned for the season 6 show NBC's The Voice. During the blind auditions, she performed Miley Cyrus's song Wrecking Ball. All 4 coaches, Adam Levine, Usher, Shakira, and Blake Shelton, turned their chairs for her. Christina opted for Adam Levine after he told her that she had a potential to be, quote, a huge star, end quote, due to her voice and stage presence. She ended up finishing 3rd place in the competition. Now, Christina then signed with Island Records. She toured with the previous contestants of The Voice. The Voice Summer Tour started June 21st, 2014 in San Antonio, Texas. During that time, she was also writing and recording for her sophomore album, her 3rd major release and first release since being signed to this new label. The lead single was expected to be released in July 2014, with the album following later in the year. March 4th, 2015, Christina announced that she had been dropped from Island Records and that she was working on a new album set to be released in late 2015. The new single from the album, Cliché, was released on March 16, 2015. And on April 27th, the 2nd single, Stay With Me, was released. Let's see. Oh, see, just seeing where you guys are. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just, so many people are into The Voice. It's been on for quite a long time. I'm not into the singing shows. Maybe just because dance is what I do. So that's what's always captured my interest. So you think you can, oh my God, let's get it right, Danny. So you think you can dance is hands down my best one, favorite one. Dancing with the Stars, not so much because ballroom's great, but I like So You Think You Can Dance because it has like everything. But that's just dance show stuff, not singing competition stuff. Let's see. Corey says Adam Levine and Lil Wayne's record labels wanted her too before she went to Island. Okay, thank you, Corey. Here we go, Corey, once again, coming in, dropping knowledge, coming in hot. Let's see, I like watching the kids sing, but not much for those kinds of shows. A friend of mine was on one of those shows. Oh, that's cool, Renee. That is super cool. How did your friend do? Did she get, I don't know, like the structure of them. Yeah, how far did your friend get along? James, you know what? You're going to get a star for that, hon. You are going to get a star. I don't like watching those untalented musicians on those shows. If I want to watch untalented musicians, or if I wanted to see untalented musicians, I'd watch Paul. Thank you very much. James, best comment of the night. So you think you're a ninja intruder? Oh my God, no kidding. Might as well. Gosh. All right. So where were we besides ninja intruders? And James like already stealing the show with his comment. So, okay, yes, Christina was a contestant in the iHeartRadio Macy's Rising Star contest. And on May 27, 2015, she was revealed as the winner of the contest. This secured her spot to the 2015 iHeartRadio Music Festival in September. In September 2015, Christina was one of 16 international artists, including Paul McCartney, yes, the Paul McCartney of the Beatles, to record the charity single, Love Song to Earth. This was to raise climate change awareness. February 21st, 2016, Christina released her second EP titled Side A, which consisted of 4 songs. She said Side B was likely to follow, and she hoped to release a second full-length album by the end of the year. June 10th, 2016. This is where her story just takes a tragic turn. So I know I just threw a lot of accomplishments and how she got to where she was and the platform that she now had. I just threw all that information at you guys, which was a lot. But now this is where, if everything is going to sadly turn. And this is where, in the case when I first heard about it and learned about it, this is where I picked up because I really knew nothing before. But as I'm going through this, you guys, did you hear about this when it happened? Let's talk about it. So June 10th, 2016, Christina did a concert performance at the Plaza Live in Orlando, Florida. The concert ended around 10 p.m. after she was signing autographs. At 10:24 p.m., Christina was fatally shot by 27-year-old Kevin James Loibel. She was shot when opening up her arms to give him a hug. As witnesses fled the scene, Kevin was tackled by Christina's brother. However, Kevin broke free, backed against a wall, and then fatally shot himself. Christina, meanwhile, was on the floor and bleeding from her head. CPR was performed, and she was taken to the Orlando Regional Medical Center in critical condition with several gunshot wounds. Just before 11 o'clock p.m., Christina Grimmie was pronounced dead. She was 22 years old. During her autopsy, performed the following day, it concluded that she had been shot 3 times, once in the head and twice in the chest. Her official cause of death was gunshot wounds of head and chest. The Orlando Police Department said Kevin had traveled by taxi to Orlando from his home in St. Petersburg, Florida. He brought 2 handguns, 2 extra magazines full of ammunition, and a large hunting knife. According to Orlando police, the bags that the attendees would normally have been checked, but there were no metal let's say this again, no metal detectors at the venue, and the attendees were not frisked. How does that happen? This was not 1970s, 1980s, even 1990s. This was recently. It blows my mind that a facility, one, had no metal detectors, but didn't even search the patrons. I don't understand at a concert how that is allowed, but nonetheless, it happened. Witnesses described Kevin as, quote, nervous and kind of creepy, end quote. Kevin had purchased the guns legally. He did not have an arrest record in his home county of Pinellas, but did have previous run-ins with police. The police had determined he did not appear to know Christina personally, nor did she know of him. He had not had any diagnoses of any type of mental illnesses, but he did have a history of violence. Kevin had shown, quote, an unhealthy and unrealistic infatuation, end quote, with Christina, and tried to make himself more physically attractive for her through weight loss, hair plugs, and eye surgery. His family stated they were not aware of his plans to travel to Orlando, nor that he even owned any guns. They also stated they had never even heard of Christina, nor did Kevin ever talk about her. However, his quote, only friend in the world, end quote, claimed to have known about this obsession, though was not aware of the extent of it. Kevin's coworkers, they stated the same thing. June 16th, 2016, Christina was buried at Berlin Cemetery in a private ceremony. The following day, thousands of friends and fans attended a public memorial held in Medford, New Jersey. The Voice tweeted, quote, there are no words. We lost a beautiful soul with an amazing voice, end quote. Her former coach, Adam Levine, wrote that he and his wife were, quote, absolutely devastated and heartbroken. This is yet another senseless act of extreme violence, end quote. Blake Shelton wrote, quote, I'm stunned and disgusted and heartbroken that we lost that sweet little girl, end quote. Selena Gomez, whom she had a close relationship with, wrote, quote, my heart is absolutely broken. I miss you, Christina, end quote. So we're going to talk about a little bit about what happened after the murders, like months after the murders. But before I dive into that, there's a bunch of new people here in the chat. So let's see where you guys are. Okay, Renee comments about her friend. She didn't win, but she went up. Oh, that's cool. She has a few things on YouTube. I did tattoo work on her. One, I can't even speak properly tonight, so let's just get that out of the way. That is so cool, Renee. That is super cool. Ella says, yes, I remember when this happened. Okay, saw it come through Twitter. I've never been on Twitter, so yeah, I think I missed a lot because of that. But okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Renee used to own a tattoo shop. Wild. Okay, Ella, I completely agree. So frustrating that the security levels were so low. Absolutely. When I was reading that, it was just like one thing after another, after another, after another. Like the no metal detectors working. Did they not have, I've been to some venues where if they don't have the ones that you walk through, they have employees there like holding, I don't know the word for it. You guys help me out here, but you know what I mean. I'm just going to say the device. It's totally blanking my mind right now, where they go up and, they go up and down and it will beep if there's, any type of device. You have to take your phone, keys, all that wallet out of your pocket so that it won't make a noise. So I'm surprised that they didn't have at least that as a backup. But again, putting that aside, no one was frisked. No bags were searched. No purses were searched. It just blows my mind how that was allowed. But I'm not familiar with concert venues in Florida. I'm only familiar with them here in Massachusetts. And here they are very strict. Sometimes they're a little bit lax, but the times they're kind of what I would say lax, it's still 20 times more than what happened here. But no ninja detect us. Oh my God, that's so funny. Absolutely, Mimi. I mean, that's what I would presume. Clearly, I don't know who dropped the ball here, whether it was the venue, whether it was the city, whether it was the state, I don't know. But think about it. Concerts hire police for security. I don't understand. When I try to rationalize it in my head, there's still all these barriers where I'm like, but then that doesn't make sense. I don't know. But I completely agree with you. I don't know. Hi, Beckham. Welcome. James. Oh, I remember this. Yeah. I think, I knew when I would get to the part about the night she was murdered, that would kind of ring the bell. Because when somebody first mentioned the case name, I was like, okay, add it to the list. And then, because I never watched The Voice, I knew nothing about that. But I remembered I remembered a singer being shot by a fan and dying because of that. And then when I started to do the research, I was like, oh, that's who that was. Yeah. Let's see. Wolf, hello, welcome. Being a celebrity and having stalkers would be a drag. Well, yeah, I mean, I covered also, besides this case, I covered a while ago on DNA After Dark, Rebecca Schaefer. She was killed by an obsessive fan. John Lennon, that was my first kind of live case that I did, kind of going into this territory of talking about them live with Mark David Chapman. This is not just a one-off example, and that's so sad and so tragic, because one murder of this kind is just too many. It's too many. So to have, it seems like each decade there's another example, and there's been more since then. I just haven't covered them on the show, but it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But you're spot on. Let's see. I know, James. She went to hug him and he shot her. And I don't understand if he was, he's dead, so we'll never get any answers. But if he's making these changes to himself to make himself more attractive to her, I can't connect how that would be his response. I mean, not that you can't rationalize irrational thinking and behavior. You can't. You can try, but the only thing I could think of, it's like if he hugged her, then she moved her attention to somebody else, and then in his mind he felt rejected or something. You could almost see it a little bit more, not fully, but you could maybe try to follow. But she goes to hug him, and this is what he does. It just shows how much of a kind person she was to all of her fans. And then this is what he did, which sucks. Absolutely sucks. There's just no way. I don't know what better way to say it. Hi, the better Paul. Welcome. Oh, Beckham, where are you going? Where are you going? Message me. Okay, Mimi, I'm going to time you out if you talk nonsense like this in my chat. See, that's just, I don't know. I don't know. Just kidding. Some high profile celebrities carry guns. I mean, can you blame them? Yeah. Maybe he knew someone working in security that day. See, I could go with that theory if people were frisked and bags were checked. Then it would be like, well, wait a minute. Everybody was checked. How did this one person get in? That I could buy, but no one was checked. It was just go in. So it doesn't matter if he knew anybody or not, because he was getting in and he had all his weapons. Let's see. Wolf says, can I click it? Okay. I went to a concert last year and they made me bring in a tiny pocket knife back, or they made me bring a tiny pocket knife back to my car. In the 90s, they didn't have as much security, just more relaxed. Yeah, I believe that. I fully believe that. Even backpacks now, I know, like in Boston, there's the Garden. It's gone through many names, but now it's the Garden. And, being a teenager, going in for concerts, you go in with friends, spend the day in Boston, bring a backpack. And for so long, backpacks were allowed. They would just search it, which was fine. And then it became a no backpack rule. And the one time I remember, it's like I knew that, but I was like, I'll bring my backpack anyway. And I said, you can search it. There's nothing in it. They said, no, they're just not allowed. So you had to leave them with security and then pick it up after the show. But yeah, even though they had the capabilities to search it, have it go through metal detectors, the whole rigmarole, no, couldn't bring it in. Could not bring it in. Even if it was an empty backpack that you were just going to buy souvenirs with, like if you're going to buy a bunch of t-shirts and pins and lanyards and all that, nope, couldn't do it. So yeah, I think of that, and then I hear this case, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Hi, Tony. Welcome. Oh, Renee, absolutely. Absolutely. I know. there's no way, no situation would be a good situation, but it just shows that, like, yeah, they're so good to their fans, and that's the response. Dimebag Daryl, Danny, you gotta look into that. Do I gotta, Corey? All right. Message me, I'll forget. Message me, I'll forget. If a celebrity, even D-list, has to cut expenses, security would not be an expense to cut regardless of the celeb status. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Mimi, you're so cute. I go to many shows without being checked. Oh God, Corey, that's so sad. Most of the smaller venues I know of just don't do that. Yeah, I mean, Corey, I know you don't, I forget what state you live in, hun. It's very different here in Boston. I think because we're such a big city and we've been through attacks before, that it's just life now. Yeah. I mean, even going into, like, depending on where you're going into, like, certain bars and clubs in the city, like in Boston, as a woman, if you have a purse, they're just like, oh, can we just see in your purse? Just to make sure there's nothing in there, which I don't care. That's fine. But I would rather the safety, but it's just, yeah, it's very different. Very, very different. And very different. When I did the episode, me and my girlfriend Liz did it on the American Manhunt Netflix documentary review. We didn't even get into, like, things that have changed in Massachusetts, especially Boston, since that attack. But that's one of them. Even just going into, like, a bar in Boston, sometimes, depending on your purse size, hey, we need to take a look in your purse. And that didn't happen before. Concerts, yes. Concert venues, yes. But not clubs. So clubs and bars. So that's very different. Poor Selena was killed. Yes. Selena Quintanilla Perez. Yep, she was killed by Yolanda Saldivar. Yep. Let's see. True dandy. Big cities like Boston, New York, Chicago are all risky going to big venues. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And I'm sure California, like LA, would be on that list too. But absolutely. Which makes me, like, to me, Orlando's a big city. Not like a Boston or New York, but to me, it's a big enough city that I'm surprised that this happened. Kind of going off what you're saying, Mimi. It's not a small little venue in, some town in Florida that, fits only like 500 people, for example. Like, this is a big venue, which I consider, Orlando is where Disney is, for Christ's sakes. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I thought it was illegal to search a woman's purse. The reason outlaw motorcycle members would have their old ladies carry their guns for them. I don't know, James. I can't comment on that. I don't know. Just know what I deal with here. So, okay. So where we left off is when immediately after Christina was murdered. So in December 2016, so 6 months after her murder, Christina's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against several entities, including the concert promoter, the foundation that owns the venue, and the security company working the event. Thank you. In January 2017, the promoter and the owner of the venue requested that the judge dismiss the lawsuit, claiming, get this, you guys. Sorry if you can hear the fire trucks going by where I live. So, oh my gosh, there's like so many of them. Real life, y'all. All right, so get this. So again, the promoter and owner of the venue requested that the judge dismiss the lawsuit, claiming Florida law does not allow business owners to be held liable for attacks on their property. Let me repeat that. They claimed Florida law does not allow business owners to be held liable for attacks on their property. The lawsuit was dismissed, but Christina's family was given an opportunity to refile the lawsuit. The judge stated that the suit did not make enough of a distinction between the concert promoter and the venue owner. That is horrible. Horrible. But it doesn't end. May 2017, the Grimmie family's attorney, Brian Kaplan, said that the family would file a new complaint after a Florida judge dismissed the original lawsuit. On April 9, 2018, the family's lawsuit moved forward. In their lawsuit, the Grimmie family alleged that the defendants had, quote, failed to take adequate security measures to ensure the safety of the performers and the attendees at the concert venue, end quote. The Grimmie family was also allowed to move forward on claims of, quote, negligent infliction of emotional distress, end quote. December 3rd, 2019, the Grimmie family voluntarily dismissed the case. I could not find any additional information as to why, but I found that very interesting after all that fighting that they just dismissed the case voluntarily. In 2019, Christina's YouTube channel reached 4 million subscribers. Since Christina's passing, her recorded music has been released with big success, and she received her only Teen Choice Award in 2016, winning the Choice Web Star Music Award. That is the case of the murder of Christina Grimmie. Thank you for sticking around for another episode of Danny After Dark. And thank you to Retro Kid Ice Cat for the recommendation of this case, the murder of Christina Grimmie. So what do you guys think about that? I know we kind of talked along the way, but especially now, what do you guys think of the family and their lawsuits against the owner, against the promoter, and then Florida law? It's very interesting. I did not know that law existed, but I don't live in Florida, so I wouldn't know that. Just now I do. After covering this case, now I do, but I didn't know that before. That blows my mind. I didn't do follow-up research to see if because of this incident, if anything was changed or is in the process of attempting to change. Because sometimes you see after, a big incident, something like this, that now there's, motions in place for things to change. But I didn't do any follow-up to see if that was the case with this, but I'd be curious if that was the case. I sure hope so, because that's a horrible law if that's the case. Because when I was breaking it down, let me pull it back up for you guys, right? When I was breaking it down, it I'm like, so there's really no reason to have security at all for any of the events because property owner wouldn't be liable. So what's the issue? What would be the issue? So yeah, I'm just going to read that one more time. So the promoter and the owner of the venue back in January 2017 requested that the judge dismiss the lawsuit, claiming Florida law does not allow business owners to be held liable for attacks on their property. That's a crazy law. Crazy. I don't know. So, all right, let me get back to you guys where I last saw you guys' comments. All right, yeah, it was James talking about purses. Yeah, that makes sense. Ask a straight scene. Oh my God, you guys, so funny. Hypnotize that like button. Oh, thank you, Capone. Does her record label and her management company have any responsibility to protect their artist? Good question, Ella. That's a good question. I don't know. Because that's the thing. You'd think that she would have. All right, hold on. I would like to think that her management team, that she had her own security, but I don't know at what point does a musician, a performer, have their own security? At what level in their career, or what level of fame, I should say, do they have their own security? I don't know. Because if you notice, her brother that was with her was the one that attacked the gunman and, got him. And then, got up against the wall and killed himself. But it didn't say security jumped in. It was her brother. There was no mention of security. No mention of security. So I just can't, I don't know. Maybe I'm just naive. I think of like any celebrity autograph signing I've ever been to, singers. For a long time, I was into, Danny After Dark, fun fact. For a long, long time, I was into WWE wrestling. I know. And met back in late 90s, early 2000s, met almost everybody. And every single one had their own security. Any singers that, if I went to concerts and was able to luckily meet any of the performers, they all had their own security. Anything I've been to, they had their own security. I've gone to podcasters events, even recently, true crime podcasters events, where they're just doing, and those are small events, small, podcast tours. Not only is there full security, but they have their own bodyguards. So I don't know. All right. Let's see. All right. Mimi says, sad all the way around for the Grimmie family. Absolutely. I don't think they can sue the venue, though. They should have sued the venue's security company. But then again, if according to the law, business owners can't be held liable for attacks on their property, so then who's responsible? This just had so much of dismiss, they're not liable, so then who's liable? I didn't really leave with anything that said a clear cut, here was the party that was liable. I didn't, after research on this, I didn't leave with that. If you guys are more familiar with this end than I am, by all means, please enlighten me. But I didn't leave with that. And that was a sick feeling, because her poor family that is left with this. And it just seems like a passing the blame, shifting it. Oh, well, it's not the owner, so it must be the promoter. Well, nope, promoter's not responsible. Then it's this, and just so back and forth like tennis. But no one's responsible. So, yeah, that was an excellent point that she had. Yep. I would expect security to be handled on the venues and not the labels end. It's a swim at your own risk out there. I mean, well said. It's unfortunate, but well said. As if record labels ever protect their artists, how many died of theirs? James, that's an excellent point. Let's see. I saw something one time and it said one of the most dangerous jobs to have is to be a rock star. The odds of dying young are outrageous. 27 Club. Hey, Troy, welcome. I go backstage at shows all the time and nobody ever hassles me. Well, Capone, is the reason because you just kind of sneak in and go, I know someone who knows a ninja intruder? Okay, that was a horrible joke, but I saw my moment. Failed. Exactly. Z-listers have bodyguards. I hate to call them Z-listers, but I mean, to just call a spade, it is what it is. Again, I want to remind everybody, this case was not in the 70s, in the 80s, or the 90s. This was 2016. Again, this was 2016. So this month would be 7 years ago. So this was pretty damn recent, especially because we went through COVID and the world was shut down for 2.5 years, maybe, depending on where you live and restrictions. So this was not that long ago, but yeah, who knows what she had to sign to. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Is the screen blurry or is it me? Oh, let me pull up my page and see, because I would hate. No, it's clear on my end. Clear on my end. I got nervous. I'm like, oh, don't even tell me I did the whole show blurry. Oh my God. Yeah, Corey, no kidding, right? Thank you, James. Okay, Scotty says sometimes things like that happen so fast where there's so many people that security may not have time to react. The responsibility should be proactive. Very good point. Very good point. Again, but I didn't read anything of even, let's say, like, the brother was right there. So let's say the brother was able to tackle him, and then security, so on and so forth. There was nothing of that. Nothing. So I don't know. You're just special, hon. All right, Capone. What do my friends tell me all the time that I look like an Albanian? Oh my God. Capone, that's not something to brag about. Oh my gosh. Especially on YouTube. Especially here. I don't want to be associated with this. God, I don't want to be yeah. Yep. Prince Harry felt left out and had to make up a high speech. Oh gosh. Almost. Oh God. Well, this just took a turn, you guys. My God. Anyway. All right, you guys. So yes, any last comments or questions or anything about this case, about Christina herself, it seems like we all are pretty much in a similar thinking path about the security, lack thereof in this case, the venue, Christina's family. It seems we're all pretty much on, on the same page with that, which is interesting. And if anybody watching, if you're not live in the chat tonight, but you're just watching this on replay, especially if you're from Florida, but more so if you're from Orlando, and you have any insight into the venues there, by all, please enlighten me. Please leave a comment. I would love to hear. I just, like I said, I assumed or presumed that, to me, Orlando would be in my mind, a big city where they would have, kind of upped security at venues, if you will. So I was very surprised where this one didn't have much at all. But maybe that's just normal there. Maybe because Florida law, that's just the norm. And I just happen to live in a place where it's very polar opposite. So I would just be curious. So let's see. Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. Florida has some crazy stuff going on. I know, Renee, that's like a whole nother show, but yes, that is true. Troy, yes, I remember that, or hearing about that. Yeah, that he was stabbed by a ninja intruder, if you will. Let's see. Too bad Rosemary pulled ahead and smashed a lamp over someone's head that night. Yeah, that's for more Manson talk. Go over to the podcast. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to start to wind that down. Thank you guys again for joining me for another episode of Danny After Dark. And again, thank you so much to Retro Kid Ice Cat for this case suggestion. Again, the murder of Christina Grimmie. So if you guys have any suggestions for any cases that you'd like me to cover, leave it down below in the comments after. Since I do it live, please don't do it during the show because I can't write it down. Put it in the video after, or DM me. My Instagram is TheDannyAfterDark, or email me, TheDannyAfterDark@gmail.com. And my true crime and chill this week, I believe, will be Friday night, either Friday or Saturday, but I'm like 95% sure just based on plans it will be for Friday night. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, everybody remember, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye, everyone.